Indeed, every year we go through roughly the same thing. There was a migration check, and it seems like it's about to end soon. I already feel the general pressure now. I feel pressure on the roads because there are so many police checkpoints. Not checkpoints, but police posts filled with police. There are many trucks with military personnel. Get up. Get on up. Get up. Get on up.
There are some horrors being reported about certain checks. All sorts of unclear situations when you don't have your passport with you and so on and so forth. There are checks on the roads, by the way. By the way, there are situations where people are stopped while riding a bike, regardless of whether they are wearing a helmet or not, and their vehicle registration documents are checked, meaning those stamps, right? You can somehow... To give some advice, since not only has Soroka brought a lot of unpleasant stories and horrors about how everyone is being packed off to prison, but you also mentioned that there are around 1,500 exiled from paradise. Let's go through these latest news at the end of the season.
To be honest, I don't have much to cheer about because overall it's quite a depressing story right now. Well, first of all, there was a migration check and it seems like it's just about to end. Or even came to an end. Well, in general, here it is, such a happy ending. Accordingly, the harvest was very large. But really, every year we go through roughly the same thing, so here is this year's harvest, here it is now.
It seems it was in March before.
It is ending.
2 harvests.
In general, it does not depend much on the season. It heavily depends on the political events in Indonesia. First of all, well, yes, sometimes they, as I see it, also focus on the tourist flow.
Soroka on the tail says that the president used to be a Democrat, and all of this was under one influence. Now everything that has arrived is redirecting the flows, and accordingly the relationships have become a bit tougher.
Tougher because he is a former military man as well. Well, can you be a former military...
So now it turns out that the generals are in power. The power of the generals has improved and strengthened.
Strengthened?
The order in this case, what are the forecasts? The order will be stricter, the attitude towards tourists will be...
I already feel the pressure now, the general pressure. I feel the pressure on the roads because there are so many police checkpoints. Not just checkpoints, but police posts that are filled with police. There are a lot of trucks with military personnel providing various events. There are currently many on Bali. Well, you probably rarely go to Bukit, right? Never. Bukit is practically filled with the army.
And why? What happened?
But I don't remember the name of the political party involved in the recent event. People were dissatisfied with the decision that was made, which was not what they expected. As a result, there were mass clashes between the police and the Muslims who came here.
It was a situation regarding the fact that many people are studying, Muslims, I believe, and they need to be somehow removed from here, from Bali.
Not like that? No. The situation was that the people... The leadership of the political party were making decisions about its further work, and a lot of people came from Lombok, from Muslims, completely Muslims, mostly Muslims. Yes, everyone flew here, followers of this party, and they didn't like the decision to keep the party leader for another term. And because of this, these clashes and a small conflict began. The police were not enough.
They seem to be friendly, though.
Well, I can't honestly call Muslims friendly. I mean, I know some really cool Muslims personally, but overall, as a religion, I can't describe Muslims as friendly. That's the story.
And because of this, there are now plenty of military personnel here, more checks.
Well, it started from this, but whether it is the reason or not, I don't know.
They stop and start checking.
That is, everyone is opening there. They not only stop people, but also go through hotels, visit hubs where foreigners gather, and conduct various types of checks. Recently, I had a visit. There was a migration check. They knocked on my door. There was a migration check, probably 2. No, not 10 days ago.
It's just immigration knocking on your door and saying, give something, give a passport.
Give the passport, Vikitos.
Well, here's the passport, here's the kitab.
They took my passport. They asked how long I had been living in this place. They held the passport in their hands, but I generally had nothing to hide. I naturally didn't let them in, keeping them at the threshold.
And could you please tell me, do they have the right to enter or not?
Well, you know, it's a very delicate question, like in Russia, when they ask whether the police have the right to enter. If you don't tell them clearly, there's this formulation. If you don't say clearly that I am not letting you in, then they have, this kind of story. So, if you don't know your rights, I usually make it simpler. I close the door and stand there talking.
Currently, around the world, China, Turkey, and even Dubai are oppressing and simply cutting off the oxygen for businesses, especially those from Russia.
Yes.
Everyone wants to move to a good place to live and recover there as quickly as possible.
What would you recommend? 100% Southeast Asia and 100% Indonesia? Because firstly, we have low taxes here, and secondly, we have, in a good sense, a financial dump, where there is no strict and rigorous financial regulation, at least at the moment. It becomes quite easy to relocate or open a new business right here, and from there having a company in Indonesia to distribute money or send it wherever you need.
And who will do it?
There is an excellent, amazing, absolutely magnificent channel called Expert Bali. You can go there. There is a lot of useful information on that channel about how to do it step by step and who exactly will do it. And in general, to organize this business practically turnkey, without even flying to Indonesia.
Cool. I'm going to give a brief overview of this kind of situation. So, unexpected guests arrive, and they ask for your documents. You show and give your documents. If they want to come in, then you should ask the question, do you most likely have a search warrant or not? Or to say, I feel bad right now, for example, I don't want you to go in there. I'm not inviting you over there. Later, if they tell you that you need to go with us, then you say, am I arrested? If they say no, there is no arrest, right? Or if arrested, they say yes. Who can make an arrest?
The police can make an arrest?
Just take them and arrest them right on the spot.
Listen, well, technically, yes.
Technically, okay, but if usually...
Are you talking about the legal procedure?
No, I am saying that they are offering to go with them to the training.
They suggest to go through...
Yes, and in that case, you suggest the following. Again, something like, if I suddenly feel unwell or not, suddenly, here is my passport. You know where I live. Accordingly, I really don't understand you very well. I have a lawyer. Please send me your proposal in writing, and I will come with my lawyer. Am I right?
Yes, it's a good story. I like it. The only thing is that you need to choose your wording very carefully, meaning you shouldn't use the word not and so on. If you are talking about them, then it's better not to say anything about them at all. It's better to talk only about yourself, well, and so on and so forth. But yes, we understand each other in this regard, and I hope our viewers will also see something for themselves in this order of nonsense.
So, good.
But overall, in this case, I simply say that I always close the door. That is, the door serves as a technical barrier to prevent a person from entering, as I understood.
You step outside, closing the door behind you, but they can still open that door.
Well, what if it's closed? It should turn on for them. For example, my doors close automatically.
Ah, I see. So, if a person hasn't closed it, well, there are just few doors in Ubud that close automatically. They are always open. Therefore, they can, for the most part, always ask if they can come in.
Yes.
You say no. Sorry there.
But it's better not to always say the word no, because no is often perceived as confrontation. So it's better to say, excuse me, I'm a little bit sick right now. And that's it.
That makes sense. So there is no such thing as the word no.
Yes, there is no need to use the word no.
Never.
Yes.
Okay. They turned around, took the passport, left, and then some communication happens. Through a lawyer, I don't know, someone else, and so on and so forth.
You have to... We forgot. You need to ask them which migration office they went. Because you need to find your passport later, really.
Yes, so we need to find out how, from where, initially, I guess we should ask where you are from, write down in the phone that you want this, this, and this, right?
No, to be honest, this will only complicate their work, and in the end, the checks will just become more thorough. It doesn't make sense. It makes sense only when they actually have a passport and you just communicate with them normally as a person.
Do they usually communicate normally?
Usually, yes, but they are quite strict, There's a certain rigidity about them, and they feel like they are the masters here, while you are, well, a guest at best. At worst, you can just go to hell if you become uninteresting.
And why such an attitude?
With such an attitude, one can only sell for large checks because...
Well, yes. But on the other hand, isn't this negativity that is spreading, right? People who are leaving, can you imagine there are about 1,500 people a month?
Well, can you imagine who they have to work with there?
Wait. They are deporting 1,500 people there and so on. All these people come and tell everything about how things are really not good there, or they felt that things were not good. So, this creates a negative vibe. It's clear that this affects the number of tourists, it drives down the tourist flow, and it really impacts the image. Does no one pay attention to this?
You know, right now, when money has completely taken over the island, that's my opinion, I think that the number of deportees no longer interests anyone. Everyone is now focused on the profitability of real estate.
So they depend on the number of tourists.
While the tourist flow is increasing,
Jeroba, Jeroba, Jeroba.